Welcome back to the program. Pastor William again here. The number to test is 0421 256697. And this moment I'm reaching you from the land of India, here in Chennai, the southern part of India. That's where we are being talking to brother Mike Bennett from the UK. Mike, we're talking about the spiritual movement in England at the moment. And it's sort of like most of the situation around the world. So how do we come back again to what God originally made the church to be?
Well, the church meant to be a fellowship of people who are in Christ, that have Christ at the very heart of them.
Yes.
That, as Paul says in Philippians 3, everything's stripped away. Everything is rubbish, save for knowing Christ and Christ only.
Yes.
But as he said, he hadn't actually got there yet, and he was striving to take hold of the one that had taken hold of him. That's a paraphrase, but if you look in Philippians chapter 3, you'll see it there. And I think when we all come together in that sort of attitude, that we're all moving towards that direction, that's what church is.
But do you see a major difference between the early church and the church today?
Oh yes. I think the thing is that one of the problems is that the Western church has been so often influenced by things like Greek philosophy, which tends to make this difference between the sacred and the secular.
Yeah.
And we lose that sort of sense. It's where you end up with somehow your hierarchy within the church becomes somehow super spiritual.
Yeah.
And that those of us who work, like Paul in a way, as a tent maker, but still there to hopefully preaching the gospel and sharing and witnessing in the marketplace. So often I think we lose that because we're so bound up in our own influences of culture and background.
Yes. Mike, one of the concerns I've had lately is the social aspect of the gospel that have dominated a lot of ministries today. It looks like people are more prone to social life than the deep spiritual Christian life, especially in the Western world. Now, we're in India here. I mean, the people have gone amenities that we have in the Western world. So, how can we get the Western churches to catch again the vision of, look, church is about spiritual. Jesus says, my house shall be called a house of prayer. So how can we get the Western church to understand the principles again?
I think there is, in lots of churches, a great desire to pray. But it's a question of how much it's going to cost them.
Yeah.
And that's where the thing comes. I think in my own church, I think that's the case, and I've been saying so. But bearing in mind, because I don't actually pastor, I'm just part of the team ministry.
Yes.
But I think the thing is that there are great desires for prayer in church in Britain. There's been some wonderful, over the last 10 or so years, some wonderful moves of 24/7 praying by young people particularly. And this has been quite tremendous, and I'm sure has seen wonderful results. But I think prayer is very vital.
Yes.
There is that sense in which I challenged our men's group by this whole business that if we all the time organising social events to draw men in, what does it say about our faith?
Thank you.
Does it actually speak of self-sacrifice, of carrying the cross? And we're all guilty to some extent or other. I know we have a men's breakfast. It's not geared as a prayer meeting. It's used to disciple men and for fellowship and evangelism. But whether we should have more of a prayer meeting, a men's prayer meeting with that purpose in mind, then probably we should do.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this. Okay.